Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 6 of the second 9 weeks of music class. Today, we are going to talk about what an arrangement is. An arrangement is a kind of composition or a kind of piece of music that you write. So, we have something that might be an original composition, which is completely made up by you. The melodies, the harmonies, everything is made up by you. We have something that might be called a Contra Fact. A Contra Fact is where the chord changes are the same, but the melody is different. So you can have the same changes from tonic to dominant and subdominant, and all of those chord changes are the same, but the melody, again, is different. And then we have an arrangement. An arrangement, you still recognize that same piece of music. If it's an arrangement of Happy Birthday, no matter how it's performed, you will still recognize, hopefully, that it is the song Happy Birthday. What an arrangement does is it changes or alters the piece of music to the way that the composer wants. They might do what's called a reharmonization, where they change the chords somewhat. But again, you will still hear that main melody, that happy birthday to you, in some way in there. Now, an arrangement could also be used to change what instruments are performing. Let's say you want to perform Jingle Bells, but the original version you found is just the sung Christmas carol, jingle bells, jingle all the way, but you want to play it on the piano. Well, you would arrange that piece of music to play it on the piano, or maybe you would find an arrangement that somebody else wrote so that you could perform it on the piano. Let's say you wanted to do Jingle Bells as an orchestra. You would have to rewrite or find an arrangement of Jingle Bells written for orchestra. Let's listen to a couple examples of this.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, dashing through the snow in a one-horse.
So we could hear already that this is written in a more jazz style. This is arranged in a more jazz style. The instruments we might hear are still that voice. We still hear that main melody that we're used to hearing. Jingle bells, jingle bells. It's swung instead of straight eighth notes. Or it has a little bit of a different way that we perform the microbeats. Also, the instruments might be a little bit different than what we're used to. We can hear that there's piano playing. We could hear that there is a drum set playing, and there's still that voice. Let's continue listening a little bit more to this one.
Open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle, jingle bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, oh, oh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
So one other thing that we get out of this is some reharmonization, where the chords aren't necessarily what we would expect out of this piece of music. So it doesn't follow the normal just tonic and dominant chords. We include some jazz reharmonization where we're adding some extensions and we're replacing chords with other chords. Now, let's take this in a different direction. Maybe we want to listen to it in an orchestra format. Now, already we've had a big difference in the way that this piece is performed and written, for that matter. So we started with a long introduction where we introduce a little bit of some different things that are going on. We introduce the harmony, bum, 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 this repeated harmony that's going to be used throughout the piece of music. We introduce all of the instruments that are happening. There's a lot of brass. We introduce the main melody, the bum 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 ba-dum, with the horn, the French horn part. We use some trumpets, and there's also actual handbells used. You'll get to see this when you watch the video, but there's handbells used which help to accentuate that bum 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 that we heard. And there's also organ included that we might normally hear in a church service. And we just heard the very beginning of the choir coming in. But again, this is a full orchestra version, not just singing, not just the strings for that matter of the orchestra we're used to hearing. It's a full orchestra, strings, brass, woodwinds, percussion. In this case, they add in handbells, which aren't typically part of an orchestra, and also choir. So let's continue this one a little bit. So right where I stopped there, we had the choir finish that main melody. We have the trumpets coming in and now playing that melody, kind of taking over for the choir, playing that main melody. And we had that idea from the handbells coming back in, bum, 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 coming back in. We're not going to listen to that whole one because it continues in a similar manner. The trumpets play the melody, and then they come back in with the choir again. Here's one last version. So this last version is for a brass quintet. So it's 2 trumpets, a trombone, a tuba, and in this case using a flugelhorn. Sometimes they would use French horn. But this kind of goes back to that classic version that we're used to hearing. But again, instead of singing, we're using brass. So there's going to be some different arrangements. The arrangements that we listen to, I'm going to leave down below for you to take a look at. but I'm also going to include some other arrangements because we could have arrangements that mix together different kinds of music in a medley or in any of those forms that we talked about during the first 9 weeks. So there's a lot of different ways we can use an arrangement to our advantage rather than creating something completely new. All right. Everybody enjoy the listenings, and I will see you next week. If I don't see you next week, since some of you will be already on our winter vacation, then have a good Christmas, or if whatever holiday you might celebrate, or just have a good break if you're not celebrating anything at all. Bye-bye.